Welcome to the final Friday night frenzy of the basketball season. After this, we're not going to see you till August.
Yeah, last frenzy of the year, can't hold anything back.
Perfect cliche for that. All right, that's Andy. I'm Rob. We begin our show with a grudge match between the two Lafayette rivals, McCutcheon and Lafayette.
That's right, Rob. The Broncos denied the Mavericks of a fourth straight title in the JNC Hoops Classic this past December, but it was the Mavs who got some payback later on in the season, crushing Jeff by 16 points at the Crawley Center.
McCutcheon super sophomore Robert Finnessy ready to shine, but early on, the star of the show, Jeff's David Hanyard, the junior, with a tough take in traffic. He scored all of the Broncos' points in the first half. Mavs on the run. Finnessy kicks it out to Eddie Collins in the corner. His release may just be a bit faster than Klay Thompson's. I'm completely lying. That's not true. The three ball puts the Mavs up a touchdown. Roberts Broski Charles going right down Main Street for the layup. Mavs up by 10 at the half. Hanyard's cross-court pass picked off by Gavin Dunbar. Finds the younger Finnessy, Robert, and he does the rest. Nice little textbook layup there. Cortez Buckner's three ball, a little short. Dunbar gets the board. He gives it to you-know-who, Mr. Finnessy. Blows by a trio of Broncos for the coast-to-coast finish. He scores 17, and McCutcheon drops Jeff 62-35.
In the earlier game, Harrison taking on Zionsville. Pick up the action in the third quarter. Raiders trying to break the press. Dom Trapp swings it over to Jack Matthew, who nails the smooth-looking step-back jumper. Later on, Derek Ginn gives it to Benito Munoz. The sophomore nails the three-pointer. The Raiders surprisingly ahead of the Eagles. Final seconds of the quarter, Matthew going to work. The junior with another jump shot to break a 31-all tie. But the Raiders get a bitter taste of March Madness. Moments later, Jack Pilcher hits a buzzer beater from half court. Zionsville takes a 34-33 lead and all the momentum into the fourth quarter. Luck on the Eagles side after the break. Munoz almost comes up with the steal. Instead, Pilcher hits the basket from close range. Zionsville applying some style points now. Dominic Genko with the nifty pass. Zionsville wins 59-47.
All right, over at Central Catholic, Jackson Anthrop of the Knights looking to advance past Tri-Central. Early on, it was Anthrop, certified zone buster, pulls the trigger from the top of the arc. Knights out to a quick lead. A little later, Avery Denhart finds a soft spot in the zone, hits cutting Ben Tharp for the easy buckets. And back to action, Jackson. He uses the screen, tucks the rock like the running back that he is, and bursts to the glass for the deuce. Tri-Central hanging in there. Dylan Smith, the beautiful find underneath. Colton Leininger drops it in. Trojans down by just 2 at that point. Now Central Catholic too tough, though. Too good at beating the zone all night. It's Denhart to Tharp for the basket underneath again. And then some timely three-point shooting from Luke Fusick. Knocks down one from the wing. And then running baseline, pops wide open in the corner. Knights led by 4 at the half. And blew it open in the third and fourth quarter, 70-53, the final. Now in the first sectional semifinal at CC, Clinton Central coach Fonzo White and the Bulldogs taking out Faith Christian. The Eagles clawing back in the fourth. Cam Burning dishes to Austin Norton. Nothing but the bottom of the net. Faith within 2. Moments later, Norton returning the favor, drops the dime, and Burning finishes through the contact and one. The free throw ties things up. Clinton Central responds. Keenan Orr takes the handoff, and he buries the long 2. And the Bulldogs pushing the ball in transition now. It's Brendan Smith, the smallest guy on the floor, gets in the paint, connects on the floater, gives his team a 2-point lead inside a minute to go. After a Faith miss, Keenan Orr fouled by Nick Borga. Borga doesn't like the call. He lets the ref know about it, and he's teed up. Orr gets to go to the charity stripe for 4 free throws, and he hits all 4 of them. Too costly for Faith to overcome. Orr with a big hug for Coach White as Clinton Central moves on, 67-63.
Elsewhere in Benton Central, the Bison taking on Northwestern. In the third quarter, Noah Downing comes up with the loose ball. Yes, no. Joseph Walling comes up with a huge rejection. BC cashing in. Blake Magic Man Morin making 2 points appear on this nice drive. Moments later, it's number 2, getting the floater to fall for 2 points while drawing the foul in the process. That's the good news for BC. Here's the bad news. Bison coach Kyle Marlett can only watch as his team would not score again in the contest. BC laying a goose egg in the fourth quarter. Northwestern beats Benton Central 53-28 to advance the Sectional 20 championship game.
Well, that does it for the first half of the frenzy. 5 games down, 7 more to go, not including the Purdue women in the Big Ten tournament. Coming up, we'll make sectional stops at Fountain Central, Frankfort, Tri-County.
And Rensselaer, Twin Lakes eyeing another sectional championship appearance, but standing in their way, Hanover Central. We'll tell you how the Indians did when the frenzy continues after the break. Stay with us.
The Friday Live.
Well, we are back on the Frenzy, and we begin the second half of the show in Jasper County for a sectional semifinal matchup between Hanover Central and Twin Lakes.
The Indians bouncing back in a big way after bowing out early in the Hoosier Conference Tournament. Ken Adams and company crushing Calumet in the first round of sectionals. Twin Lakes trying to appear in a third straight sectional championship, but first order of business, beat the Wildcats.
Yeah, that would help. The Twin Lakes faithful jumping around and ready for tonight's second game. Right after the tip, Twin Lakes' Bryce Bennington throws it to Blake Bennington, and the Benningtons get the Indians on the board first. But Blake Maris had a solid game for Hanover Central. He drives and literally floats it in there from the baseline. I don't know how he had the angle on that one. First Wildcat bucket of the game. Later, Twin Lakes swings it over and dumps it down to the great Dane Holmes, and muscles his way in for the and one. Nice play for Holmes, but Maris was not done yet for the Wildcats. And coming back the other way, he splits the defenders and puts in a teardrop from, I don't know, 14 feet. That was pretty far. It was only 6-6 after one quarter, though.
Yikes.
Twin Lakes would come alive in the second quarter as the ball gets fired into the big homie. Oh my goodness, dude. Paul wrote that highlight. Paul Zink, everyone should know that. Dane Holmes, the deuce. Indians slaughter the Wildcats 64-34, and thank you, Paul.
Also at Rensselaer was the host Bombers trying to advance past the Andrean 59ers. After an early deficit, Rensselaer inbounds it to Luke Branson, and he shows off his mid-range game, but the Bombers still trail. In transition, Andrean tossed it to Colin Flowers, who was automatic from three. Flowers blossomed in March. He had 23 points tonight to lead all scorers in this game, but the Bombers rallied as Grant Myers drains the triple try to make it a one-possession ball game. A few plays later, the Bombers swing it over to Landon Balk, who squeezes in a layup to keep Rensselaer in this game. After an Andrean rally, it was desperation time as Deshaun Warren gets the board and the putback, as you will see here, but it was too little, too late. Andrean knocks off host Rensselaer 58-48.
Still laughing from the big homie. Two teams over in Clinton County fighting tooth and nail to advance to the next round. The Frankfort Hot Dogs hosting the North Montgomery Chargers. In the second half, Frankfort trying to play catch-up. They pass the ball around. Carter Taylor with the quick toss to Jared Smith, who lays it in. The Hot Dogs, though, trail by 5. North Montgomery also passing the rock around. Caleb Randolph goes backdoor with a finger roll to increase the Charger lead. Frankfort with some fight left in them, though. Taylor gets the hoop in the arm down low. That's a man's move right there. Now, this game would need an extra 5 minutes to decide the winner. And in overtime, Frankfort looking to take the spark out of the Chargers. Jordan Campbell like chicken noodle soup. Good. You like that? Frankfort going to defeat North Montgomery in overtime, 73-68.
You're getting all the good highlights. The Patriots taking on Covington. Game 1 of the Fountain Central sectional. Ryan Fletcher, this kid is good. He turns, makes some space, and without even trying, he puts one in over his defender. He'll ultimately take home the MVP trophy for Game 1. Now for Ollie Pettit's turn. Griffin Spring tosses the baseline and loads Ollie up, and he rolls it in. The Pats on the defensive end now. Borden Kennedy strips the ball. He'll get it back at half court and break for the basket. No shame in his game. Kennedy putting up big numbers for Seeger tonight. Now on the inbounds, Kennedy again takes it solo. He grabs the breaks outside the arc and snaps off the fast 3-ball. But this game goes to Covington, doing work from outside. The Trojans take it 59-50 the final.
Game 2 of the Fountain Central sectional sees the Carroll Cougars taking on the South Vermilion Wildcats. And it's the Wildcats that strike first. Mason Wiltermuth gets a clear shot in front of the opposing bench. 3-ball. Cougars don't like that. And the Cougars' big man, Spencer Prowl, under heavy coverage, bounces it to Trenton Brummie. Get a quick deuce from the baseline. Wildcats struggling from the arc, moving the ball well to get an easy layup in the paint, though. Not bad there, but this game was the Cougar show. Luke Atkinson's leads Sproul for the alley-oop, and that will force the Wildcats to call a timeout. Wildcats try to claw it out. They will fall to the Cougars 67-56.
We head to the Tri-County sectional semifinal. North White and South Newton going head-to-head. Late in the third quarter, Luke Diener nails the spot-up jumper. The Vikings held a 28-27 advantage after the third frame. Now in the fourth quarter, John Daffsett stepping up. The senior doesn't want to go home. We're deadlocked at 34. Final minute of regulation, tied at 35. Jared Hamill muscling his way in for the deuce. The Rebels lead 37-35. But South Newton couldn't put the game away at the stripe. So with less than 2 seconds remaining, one final chance for North White. Deaner's prayer is no bueno, and the Rebels are moving on. South Newton wins in a thriller, 37-35.
Almost his third straight buzzer beat.
That's right. In the second game of the Tri-County Sectional, Pioneers squaring off with Covenant Christian. Keith Nye ready to fight on, but early it was Covenant Christian throwing the haymakers. That's Ben Rickert in attack mode. He gets the bucket to go, plus the foul. Knights lead 6-2. Moving forward in transition, Nyes finds Trey Waddups. What up? He sinks the mid-range jumper, and it's toga time. The Panthers student section likes what they see. Still in the first off the miss, Sam Kaiser dishes to Caleb Kinley for the trifecta. And Rob, it's time to take a selfie.
Why not?
Just before the end of the quarter, Waddups missing, but Nyes finishing with the putback. Pioneer rolls 80-43.
All right, some bonus highlights tonight. The Purdue women in action in the Big Ten tournament. The quarterfinals against Michigan State. Now, the Warriors led for most of this game, but they're down one in the fourth. Andriana Keys hits Bridget Perry, who squares up and drains the three ball to give Purdue back the lead up by 2. A little bit later, the Boilers dump it inside to Dominique McBride, but the freshman gets stripped. The Spartans head the other way. Tori Jankowska with the layup. Michigan State takes a 51-49 lead. Boilers down 3 with less than 10 seconds to go. April Wilson, the shot from distance falls short, way short, but Bree Horrocks catches the air ball, goes up with it. Purdue only down 1, but it's Michigan State that is able to eventually inbound the ball and hang on for the victory, 65-64. Well, that does it for the highlights tonight. Coming up after the break, Central Catholic head coach Dave Barrett joins us in the Coach's Corner.
The Knights get it done over Tri-Central. We'll break down the game and preview the team's sectional championship contest tomorrow night with Coach Barrett next. Stay with us.
This portion of News 18, sponsored by
Welcome back to The Frenzy. Joining us tonight, Central Catholic head coach Dave Barrett.
14 straight sectional championships, going for a 15th, just one went away. Just a 4-point lead at halftime, but you guys pulled away after the break, I should say. What was the difference in the second half?
Well, we were up 4 with the ball at the end of the third quarter, and Jackson stepped up and hit a big 3 to give us a 7-point lead.
Okay.
And from that point, we started rebounding better on the defensive end and kept them from getting second chance opportunities, and then guys were able to make shots and make our free throws down the stretch.
You mentioned it off air, but the balance across the board from your team, how big is that when you receive those contributions, not just from Jackson, but from everyone else on your team in a game like this?
It's huge. All year we've had 4 guys in double figures all year. Again tonight, those same 4 guys were in double figures again, and it's hard for teams to defend us because they don't know who's going to score on a given night. And, our bench played well tonight, too. Grant Schrader came off the bench to get 6, and Jake Page came off the bench tonight and added 4, coming off an ankle injury. So
yeah.
Thought we got good production from our bench, and our main guys stepped up when we needed to and got the job done.
How is Jake doing? I know he's kind of hobbled by that ankle injury. He doesn't look too bad out there, but he doesn't have, obviously, his burst or real agility right now.
He doesn't, but it's got, it was real bad over the weekend, and, he's iced it a lot this week, and it's feeling pretty good today, and he'll be even better tomorrow. He's moving pretty well on it now.
Coach, your regular season, the body of work, obviously there are a few more losses than you probably were hoping for, but you played tough teams like McCutcheon and a few others of that caliber. Just how has that prepared you for this moment right now?
It does. I think it's the speed of the game. Playing the big schools like McCutcheon and Cathedral and Harrison, you have to bring a different level of intensity against those guys, and you get used to the fast pace and the bigger crowds, and I think it just prepares our guys to be ready for tournament time.
Now, you've been zoned recently. We talked about this before we came out here for this segment. Why do you think that is? There doesn't appear to be an outside shooting weakness for your team, so it would seem that it might not be the smartest idea to zone you guys.
I think it's just, Avery and Ben are matchup problems for the other team's bigs. They can't contain them on the perimeter, and they have trouble stopping them getting to the basket, so I think that's probably why we've seen some zone lately.
Rob mentioned it, a chance to win a 15th straight sectional championship, but how do you stay grounded and focused on this game tomorrow night against Clinton Central?
It's not going to be hard. They've played well the first 2 games. We've had 2 battles already. You know, it hasn't been easy, and we know it's not going to be easy tomorrow night. Our guys will be focused and ready.
You guys have played back-to-back games a lot this season, but how does that play into it when you have a game? I mean, there's really not much time to focus on that next team or get prepared for that next team.
You know, you get used to it during the season.
Yeah.
You come in, you have a shooting practice, you watch some video, and you go over what they do, and you just come out ready to play that evening.
Well, thanks for joining us, and best of luck tomorrow against Clinton Central. We will be there, and we'll have the highlights tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Yes, we will. Make sure to check out our sports page on WLFI.com to see highlights from all of tonight's games.
Have a great night, and we'll see you next August.
Yes, we will.